People fear freezing to death than being encased in ice for eternity, but for scientists and archaeologists, a hostile, icy landscape is often a best friend. Natural ice can perfectly preserve fossils, animals, people, and otherwise biodegradable objects, often blowing any man-made storage out of the water, or at least the ice. So, grab a pick and a hammer. Here are 5 strange and amazing things found frozen in pristine perfection. Let's begin. Number 5. Boy soldiers. During the First World War, the Italian and Austro-Hungarian forces clashed in the Dolomites, a mountain range in Italy. On Friday, December 13th, 1916, a day that became known to the two armies as White Friday, an avalanche claimed the lives of 10,000 of the fighting soldiers. In 2012, corpses belonging to 2 teenage enlisted men were discovered perfectly preserved in the ice. Working quickly, scientists were able to preserve the bodies before they thawed and decayed, but the eerie finding proved that not all of the avalanche victims were buried alive. Each of the 2 frozen soldiers was found with a bullet hole in his head. Number 4. Storage. In a recent incident in North Carolina, 56-year-old Marcella Jean Lee sold a deep freezer to her neighbor for a mere $30 before moving away. The freezer was carefully taped closed, and Lee told her customer that it had been used as a time capsule for a Sunday school project. Soon, Lee told the purchaser, church members would come by to retrieve the contents, after which the freezer could be used normally. Not quite. When the anonymous and unwitting accomplice finally opened the freezer, she found, to her horror, the corpse of Marcella's mother. Though it sounds like a murder mystery, it turned out that the old woman had died of natural causes, but it's still a felony to fail to report a death. The homemade icy coffin turned out to be a ploy that Lee was using to avoid funeral fees. Number 3. Tastes like a movie. The 1993 movie Alive documents the real-life tale of a 1972 plane crash in the Andes Mountains. As was well documented by the film and accompanying book, the survivors, mostly members of a Uruguayan football team, survived partially by eating the remains of those who had perished. But the movie skipped over the secretive aftermath, in which the athletes and their wives understandably didn't volunteer the truth about their culinary habits. A priest and several church workers made a trek to the crash site almost a month after the survivors were rescued and discovered in horror, though ultimately not surprise, that many bodies preserved in the snow had been partially devoured. Who knew that the band Cannibal Corpse was named after a soccer team? These are strange days we're living in, kids. Number 2. Mummy Dearest. On September 19, 1991, a pair of German tourists were hiking in the Central Eastern Alps. They came across a ghastly, twisted, but well-preserved corpse and concluded that it must be yet another tragically failed mountain climber, similar to the frozen bodies found strewn on Mount Everest. But upon examination, archaeologist Konrad Spindler discovered that the frozen body was not only not that of a recent climber, but that it belonged to a millennium from ages past. Spindler was quickly about to prove that the corpse was over 4,000 years old. The remains became known as the Iceman, Europe's oldest known preserved mummy. Number 1. Life after death. You might expect our top-ranked frozen mystery to be something especially horrific, like the remains of some man-eating Arctic beast. But we're not here to just creep everyone out. Here's a heartwarming tale to round out an otherwise chilling video. In 2012, Russian scientists dug out several 30,000-year-old plants found frozen in the Siberian tundra. The plants, a then extinct form of narrow-leafed campion, were charmingly found in the burrow of a ground squirrel that lived during the last ice age. Using the ancient specimens, the researchers were incredibly able to resurrect the species in a laboratory. New plants grew, blossomed, and even produced seeds, marking the only time that a plant or animal has successfully reproduced after spending all of recorded history asleep in the ice. And there, you have 5 mysterious things found frozen in ice. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you drop a like and share it, and if you haven't already, subscribe down below to get notified almost every single day with new videos from Top 5's finest. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, we are